One of the most important aspects of law enforcement may not be what you think it is.
Psychology is a vital tool, and Pennington County just recently hired a new psychologist. In tonight's Eye on KELOLAND, Al Van Zee talks with a doctor about the role he will play.
Dr. Roger Belisle spends a great deal of time thinking about what happens out here on the street, where there's sometimes sudden danger and the sudden requirement for quick thinking and good judgment. It's a lot to ask of anyone. That's why law enforcement agencies are turning more and more to people like Dr. Belisle.
Because psychology does intersect a lot with law enforcement. There is a lot of applicability to the two fields, and it really is underutilized. I mean, it's only recently started to gain momentum.
So the emotional status of officers is something that law enforcement agencies pay close attention to and devote resources to. Pennington County Human Resources Director Stephanie McCoy says the application of psychological resources plays a large role in her hiring evaluations.
I guess we've been, what I like to believe, ahead of the curve as far as understanding the importance of the psychological component and mental well-being of our staff.
A psychological evaluation is part of every hiring process, she says. While it's the last step, it's not done just for the sake of the officers.
They're going to be out there working autonomously with firearms and people, and there's all kind of potential, so there's also the public safety aspect we have to make sure we're taking care of as well.
Dr. Belisle says the application of psychology doesn't go away once the officer is hired. It's used in training to teach an effective approach to dangerous situations.
As is, for example, how an officer might read a situation and how they would interpret different nonverbal and verbal cues to be able to not only assess but anticipate risk, so as to be able to act to mitigate that risk and avoid a potential unnecessary physical altercation.
But sometimes situations do turn physical and deadly. That's when officers often need help coping with what they've seen and been through.
They're out there because they're good people, and they were selected because they're good people, and so it's easy for them to blame themselves.
If deadly force is used, the officer is put on paid administrative leave so that there can be the proper investigation of the incident, and also so that they can take a step back and deal with what they need to deal with.
That brings up one of the impressions the public often sees as the classic psychological characteristic of a law officer, having a thick skin or toughness. Psychologists have another term for it.
Resiliency, and that is an individual's ability to be able to kind of, in layman's terms, be able to easily bounce back from a very difficult situation.
That ability to come to terms with the serious nature of what happens in the field may be one of the most important characteristics of a good law officer. Dr. Belisle will also be playing another role, referred to technically as forensic psychology.
Things like hostage negotiation, like assembling criminal profiles, assisting with investigation.
So Dr. Belisle will also spend time with detectives out in the field. He says he hopes to make a significant difference in the work he does. He'll be providing services to not only Pennington County, but other public safety agencies as well. With Eye on KELOLAND, I'm Al Van Zee in Pennington County.
Belisle has worked for almost 25 years in the field of psychology.